thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
What's up? I got a quick update, some breaking news that I just wanted to give to you guys before we go live, revolving around this whole case on the diddler. Let's be real. It has been interesting. It's been wild. And a lot of people have been wondering what was going to happen with juror number 6. Now, apparently, juror number 6 has officially been dismissed, y'all. And I know a lot of us are really surprised about this because it seemed like they were going to keep him. It seemed like it was going to be a fine thing and they were just going to let bygones be bygones and keep it moving. Now, this is not great news for Diddy. One thing is for sure. It is a predominantly white jury. That's number one, okay? And he was this juror number 6 was one of the only people of color, okay? One of the only black jurors in this juror pool, at least the ones that were not alternates, okay? So we don't even know who's going to end up taking over his spot because, again, that person could be white, that person could be anybody. But again, from what I'm getting, it sounds like he was very much showing that he was on Diddy's side. And of course, prosecution didn't like this. Now, they also say it's over inconsistencies about where he was living. And of course, you got to be, they said it's inconsistencies or it's about his candor. And those things are very important. You can't just sit there and say, oh, yeah, I live in the Bronx when you really live in, or like, I don't live in the Bronx, but I live in Brooklyn. Or if you know what I mean? You can say all different kinds of things and try to make it complicated. But when you complicate where you live, that makes things look really sus for prosecution or the courtroom. Let's just say that, just for the courtroom, because if it was the defense looking at this situation, they would probably pick this, point this out. But I feel like they would only point this out and look at this if this person was not a black juror. And don't get me wrong, you definitely need diversity in that jury. You want a fair trial. You want a jury of your peers. And again, if you can make that look like every color of the rainbow, looking like the Neapolitan ice cream, then hey, that would be even better. Because then that particular defendant feels like they're getting judged or they're getting a verdict by a jury of multiple people, not just all one race. This is a big deal, guys, because again, if this new alternate that comes in and they happen to be white, I can see the defense using the race card and throwing that down so hard even after the verdict is announced. They can use this to try for an appeal, etc. Like I said, it can be an absolute mess, but let's be real as well. It's already a mother-loving mess right now, okay? In fact, they're saying that there's allegedly going to be another juror that might get dismissed as well. So again, this is absolutely insane. And then on top of that, let's not forget that too, before we even go live here in just a little bit, Diddy's team tried to throw out another demand for a mistrial. So it's been an absolute mess this morning, but all of this is not looking good for Diddy. We also know today, allegedly, his mule is going to be stepping forward, taking the stand and testifying as well. So again, this is a bad start of the week for Diddy for sure. Let's take a look at this article here. But again, like I said, this is no bueno for the diddler. So juror number 6 has been dismissed over inconsistencies about where he's living. I mean, how can you be inaccurate, okay, about where you be at, where you living at? That seems a little weird, don't you think, y'all? That's a little weird, all right? Just say where you live and get it over with. But at the same time, some people could be looking at that and going, well, maybe he's not telling consistently, maybe he's not being consistent with his answers because he is a plant. He could very well be somebody who's getting paid by Diddy to be there, to be that one vote, right? Or that person's lying because they are pro-Diddy or, in fact, maybe anti-Diddy. But from what we're understanding, what we've been gathering, seems like this juror number 6 is all about this diddler. So again, very, very interesting. Let's take a look at this, okay? So Diddy's federal jury in New York City is bringing in an alternate because a juror has just been dismissed by the judge after hearing more than 3 weeks of testimony. So the judge, dismissed juror number 6 today, early this morning, after hearing arguments from the prosecution and the defense regarding where the juror lives. That seems weird, right? Again, that's weird. That you don't just mess around with that. It seems weird, but okay. While the jury was out of the room on Friday, the judge explained he went back to the voir dire portion of the trial where they are interviewing basically every single potential juror, right? So that's what they did in the very beginning. Jury selection. Voir dire is jury selection. So he went through all of that stuff that they had with juror number 6, okay, and found this juror had said at different times that he lived in the Bronx and other times in New Jersey, which makes no sense. Why not just say, yeah, I'm from the Bronx? That's it. That's all you need to say. Or, no, I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey. Whatever the hell you were living in, why would you just change it up like that? Doesn't make any sense. So the judge added the court has alternate jurors for this very reason, and there's no point in keeping one around with so many question marks attached. Okay, so the alternate juror replacing number 6, okay, is a 57-year-old Westchester County resident, okay? So Friday, Diddy's attorney stood up and said that the court was making a big step backward by getting rid of this juror of color. Like I said, they were going to throw out this name. They're going to throw out this race card for sure. Okay, that's without a doubt. Okay, asking the judge to bring him back into the court to give him the chance to explain. So it's like, okay, we're gonna give you an opportunity to rap, okay, and explain yourself. Why did you say you live in Jersey, but then in other places you say you live in the Bronx? Which one is it? What's really going on here, right? During this jury selection phase, juror number 6 revealed that he was a 41-year-old Black Hispanic man and works for the Department of Corrections. One of the main reasons the defense said they didn't want to dismiss him is because he is one of the few Black jurors. Again, I think this is crucial. I know some people would be like, no, they could sit there and they can look at the jury's not gonna sit there and look at his color. Maybe they would. Okay, that's the first thing that a lot of people see. Okay, unfortunately. All right, we don't live in a world where everyone is, everyone's created equal. We like to put that out there, but have we seen what's going on the internet and what's going on in the news? It's been pretty wild, even to this day. Okay, even after the civil rights movement, things still have not fully changed yet. So I get people wanting, or his team, Diddy's team, wanting to have someone of color, okay, in that juror spot. Now, this person that's 57 years old from Westchester County, I'm quite curious as to if this person actually, who this person is, and is he white? Is he Black? We're going to find out for sure. He is male, but we don't know what race he is so far. So he's the head accountant clerk, okay, at this particular Edgecombe Correctional Facility, a prison in Upper Manhattan. He told the court he processes payroll for corrections guards. Okay, so juror number 6 had his fair share of legal issues before the trial, suing and later settling with the Port Authority after allegedly injuring his back on an escalator. He also said he was arrested for insurance fraud related to a doctor's appointment after a car accident, which is also very interesting. Despite living in the Bronx, juror number 6 apparently isn't a New York Yankees fan, telling the court he roots for the New York Mets instead, and he's a fan of reggaeton music and 90s hip hop, which, of course, if you really think about it, who was prominent, in making serious strides, okay, and making a name for himself and for his brand in the 90s in hip hop. I'll just let you think about that, okay? And you guys can answer in the chat. But it's clear as day to me that kind of stuff for sure can be, this is something I feel like can really concern the prosecution. Okay. Then also he was arrested for insurance fraud. So this is somebody who doesn't really tell the truth, and also someone who has a criminal past. Okay. So again, I can see why the jury or why the prosecution was adamant about letting this guy go. He's not being consistent in where he lives. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like they're catching him in a lie. And of course, it does make you wonder, why is he in that room? Why, he got through, he slipped through the cracks. They went through hundreds of people. He slipped through the cracks and he was able to sit in that room. But I feel like there was more to him other than just him lying in his paperwork. But nonetheless, one thing is for sure. I really hope this next person who's from Westchester County, I hope this is a person of color, because again, there does need to be a diverse group of people in that jury pool. I'm telling you right now, that is incredibly crucial. Okay. I feel like that should be a huge importance. Okay. With every trial. Okay. Because again, you don't want a heavily biased jury solely because of how the person looks, how the defendant looks. That's not right. Okay. You want fairness. You want a fair trial, because that is Diddy's legal right. Okay. And you also got to remember, this is crucial because this is one person. One person can go in there and say not guilty and it's over. Right. And that's the same thing. And I get it why I see the move done by prosecution. If they think and believe that this particular juror number 6 that just got dismissed was biased from the very beginning, from the get-go of him being brought in, okay, and from the beginning of this trial, I can see why they're like, no, we need to get rid of him, because as soon as this thing is over, he's already saying in his mind, I could already see it in his brain, he's already saying that this guy's not guilty, right? And they don't want that, right? But again, like I said, this is incredibly crucial and very, very bad news for the outcome, for the potential outcome for Diddy. But what say you guys? What are your thoughts? Do you think that this is right? Do you think this is wrong? Do you agree with this? Do you think this is absolute trash? Do you think that this is going to turn? Do you think that this changes the trajectory of the potential verdict in this particular trial? Comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay. Again, this is not a good look, and this is not good for Diddy for sure. He is having quite the morning today. This is a crazy start of the week. You got his mule, Brendan Paul, taking the stand today as well. Again, this is very interesting. So comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. And we'll see you guys in the live in just a little bit. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.